We will now adjourn the executive session and reconvene the regular meeting. So let's start with the communications. We have one communication item tonight. The Parks and Recreation Department staff will provide an update on the upcoming National Kids to Parks Day, and I will read a proclamation recognizing May 18th as a National Kids to Park Day. Deanna Ortez, Recreation Supervisor, presenting. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I would like to share the National Kids to Park Day with you. This event, we have been participating in the city of Goodyear for several years. It is sponsored by the National Park Trust event, and basically it's across the country. Many of you know the weather is just starting to get warm in other parts of the country and not snowing. So it's a little different for us. Actually, we're expecting high 80s. So our event is all around water. And this is basically a day to engage kids with parks. We want to keep them active. They're about ready to end school this session. So we just really want to keep them healthy. And over 1 million participants attend this event yearly. So ours will be held on Saturday at Goodyear Community Park. The event will start at 8 a.m. And like I said, we will have water activities. So we'll have the fantastic fire department out having water games. We'll have relays. We're hoping to have some kite flying. Of course, that's weather permitting. We'll be offering refreshments and just a day to have parents and enjoy the parks with their kids.
Well, this is great, and I remember the past years and all the wonderful celebrations, and so it's an exciting time for the young people. So let's stand together as we look at this. Kids to Park Day, May 18th, 2019. Whereas May 18th, 2019 is the 9th Kids to Park Days organized and launched by the National Park Trust, held annually on the third Saturday of May. And whereas Kids to Park Day empowers kids and encourages families to get outdoors and visit American parks. And whereas it is important to introduce a new generation to our nation's park. And whereas we should encourage children to lead a more active lifestyle, to combat the issues of childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. Whereas Kids to Park Day is open to all children and adults across the country to encourage a large and diverse group of participants. Whereas the Kids to Park Day will broaden children's appreciation for nature and outdoors. Now, therefore, I, Georgia Lord, Mayor of the City of Goodyear, Arizona, do hereby proclaim May 18th, 2019 as Kids to Park Day. And I urge residents of Goodyear to make time to take their children in their lives to their neighborhood, state, and national park. Given under my hand under these free United States and the city of Goodyear, Arizona, on the 13th day of May, 2019, to which I have caused the seal of the city of Goodyear to be affixed and have made this proclamation public. And let me tell you how pleased we are, the performances, the things you do for the children in our park. So thank you very much. So I'll give this to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Now is the time for citizens who would like to address the City Council on any non-agenda item within the jurisdiction of the Goodyear City Council. Do we have any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Then let's go to the consent agenda. The agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. Will the city clerk please read consent agenda items 9.1 through 9.6 by title only?
9.1, adopt resolution number 2019-1934, authorizing the city to enter into the AZWARN mutual aid agreement among members of the Arizona Water and Wastewater Agency Response Network, and authorizing the mayor to execute all necessary documents related thereto. 9.2, approve a final plat for Estrella Parcel 9.31, 18-520-00025, subject to stipulations, and adopt Resolution Number 2019-1958, conditionally vacating and abandoning a portion of a street known as West Mountain Vista Drive, providing for an effective date of the abandonment and imposing requirements and conditions for the abandonment to become effective, and imposing a deadline for completion of the abandonment. 9.3, accept 2 public utility sidewalk and access easements associated with the AZ-11 Vantage Data Centers project. 9.4, approve the issuance of a temporary non-exclusive slope easement to construct and maintain bank stabilization facilities in the Bullard Wash. 9.5, accept the recommendation of the Audit Subcommittee selecting Hinton Burdick, PLLC, to perform the annual audit of the city's financial statements. 9.6, adopt Resolution Number 2019-1969, approving development agreement for Estrella Parcel 9.31, providing authorization and direction to take actions and execute documents necessary to carry out the intent of the resolution and development agreement and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
Yes, Mayor, there is.
All right.
Sterling Bell.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. I'm coming to you today.
Could you
these-
pull that microphone a little, get a little closer
Little
to
close.
it?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. My name is Sterling Bell. I live in Estrella Mountain Ranch. My address is 18419 West Verbena Drive. My house is the house adjacent or just to the north of the new parcel that's going in. I, along with the houses to the west of me, all paid an extensive amount for a view fence. I came to the city council before. I also came to the building meetings when there was zoning to ask that, you know, all the view fences, if they're going to put houses, you know, we understand progress happens, but to leave the view fences clear. All view fences, with the exception of mine, I now have 2 houses that are going to be in my backyard if this plot stays the same. The only thing that, and I've written letters to Newland, to the project manager. I also went down, once the, you know, I saw the plot come out, what was going to be there. I went down to the plotting office to ask, you know, what's coming, how is this going to be laid out? I was told this is the meeting that I had to come to ask that this be removed and at least taken back to zoning to have that moved over. There's a wash behind. All they would have to do is extend that wash by another 15 to 20 feet, and that would take that wash over, removing the houses that will be behind mine and all view, full view, and it's a full view fence. All the houses to the east of mine have block walls. So anyone with a house behind theirs would be just like any other neighborhood. They would have a block wall behind theirs, but full view fences, all, again, except for mine, had their view still available, and mine not being so. And that's what I'm asking is that 9.2 one more again be placed back into zoning, or not zoning, but building to at least ask that they make that adjustment.
Well, thank you for coming before us, and will the staff take note of that and get back to
Actually, Mayor, I believe that if there's action to approve that tonight, that it wouldn't go back to staff.
That's correct. If you want to make adjustments to the final plat, that need to happen before the approval tonight. So I don't know if if the council's going to have questions, you may want to handle it off of the consent agenda, if that makes sense.
All right,
Yep.
so don't approve
Yeah.
that one, approve the other, and then bring staff up?
Yeah, why don't you handle the remainder of the consent items and pull that one off consent?
Okay,
and then
so
you can
that was
discuss it.
item number,
9.2.
I can't hear you,
9.2.
9.2. Okay, so then I'm going to ask a motion for 9.1, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, and 9.6. A motion, a second. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion from Councilman Hampton, a second from Councilman Pizzillo. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Campbell. Aye. Councilmember Hampton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kano.
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo.
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano.
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
The motion carries.
So do we bring staff up now? Okay, so
Katie?
who is going to take care of that?
9.2, I guess Katie, huh?
It's,
So 9.2.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. The parcel in question tonight is parcel 9.31. The preliminary plat was approved in October of 2018, so just last year.
I'm sorry, can you push the microphone to where you're leaning so we can hear that? I didn't hear the date.
I think, let me just,
And will you show the parcel in question again, please, Alex?
yes. Oh. I stapled them all together.
Take your
sorry.
time. We'd rather have it so we can see it.
Okay, this is an overall of Montecito. The parcel in question tonight is parcel 9.31. Mr. Bell lives in 9.6, just to the north. In September of 2018, so just at the end of last year, the preliminary plat came before the council and approved 42 lots that are recommended for approval for final platting tonight. I believe this is Mr. Bell's lot. There's approximately 90 feet between his backyard and the lot he's mentioning. The parcel was originally in the 2008 Montecito ordinance was planned to be a school site. When we updated the Montecito PAD, Mr. Bell did attend those meetings and discussed the view behind him. So Newland made the restriction that a minimum of 40 feet, which like I said, this is about 90, separated between the rear yard of view fencing and any new proposed lots, and that this parcel specifically be limited to single story. So all these lots will be one-story homes, and like I said, I believe it's 90 feet between his backyard fence and the proposed lot that he's referring to. He is the last home on this block to have full view fencing. Just to the east of him, it is partial view fencing. The view fencing is put in by the home builder and not submitted for review by staff.
Council comments? Do we understand, does all of us really thoroughly understand what was just said? And
Well, yeah, Alex, is this a wash?
The wash,
90 feet, you were saying, between his property and the next property?
I think it is a wash. Just a second. Christopher's going to pull up the aerial so we can double check.
okay.
Okay, thank you. Oh, there we go. See, yeah.
We are double checking on if it is a wash, but regardless, it is open space. And so people can walk back through there, connect throughout the neighborhood.
I didn't get what his main complaint was. Well, I thought he said he was gonna block his view.
Oh, yeah.
But these are one-story houses and they're 90 feet from him, so they're not blocking him.
So just so I'm clear, was the complaint a view, blocking a view, or that the property is too close to
He said it's blocking the view.
blocking the view?
The view
Okay.
of what?
So just
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So I believe this lot here Right. Is the lot in question.
337?
337.
Okay.
And so the location of Lot 1 on the final plat you're considering tonight here,
This one?
yes.
Okay.
And to try and summarize, I believe the question is, can this lot be moved or
Which
removed?
lot is his, which home site is his?
This 337,
Okay, all right.
because it's located directly behind him. And the justification he's saying is because from this home westward, all have full view lot fencing. Lot 336 starts a partial view lot fencing.
So these are new home sites here that are being
These
put up
lots up
back there.
here,
Okay. So
Those, what did you find they were platted in 2006? Or
so are these
2000?
already settled?
2014 is when it was recorded.
Oh, is when it was recorded. It was one of those that was hanging out there for a very long time, so it wasn't recorded till 2014. So those are new homes.
So I understand, because I'm not reading this. Okay, so let's go to home site 1 and the land behind that. All across, is that being developed?
No. So
Okay, there.
So there is planned for single-family residential. It was
Okay.
formerly a school site, and then with the rezoning of Montecito that happened somewhat recently, that was rezoned to single-family with a one-story restriction.
And show me his home site.
I think I have it highlighted. Can you see it right here?
Okay, all right.
And so the argument the resident is making is that the view fencing is what should delineate the park site versus the single-family home. I bought this home, it had full view fencing. That would indicate to me, as someone purchasing a home, that there was going to be park or no development behind my home. The city doesn't regulate where the view fencing goes. We encourage view fencing where it makes sense in your open space areas, but it's up to the individual home builder to determine which homes are going to have view fencing and how much view fencing, whether it's going to be the full view fencing or a partial view fencing.
Right.
So it was up to the home builder to determine where that view fencing went and how much view fencing. So the fact that the home builder chose to put that lot as full view fencing wasn't determining where that park versus residential line was.
Right, okay. Yes,
Want to
Councilman
clarify,
Loretano?
oh, if you could go back to the visual, because I live up there and I know my neighborhood, we've got full view fencing, so it's like this much, and then the rest is view fencing. We have a wash, and then we have probably about 45 feet on the other side, full view fencing. So you do have houses, but you've got that wash in between both the full view fencing. So my question is, the little strip is going up and down. Yes, that strip, what is that strip behind those houses?
Mayor and Council, so as Alex indicated, it's approximately 90 feet, and this is an aerial of that same area, and it does appear to be a wash.
And it will not be developed? Nothing's built?
No, ma'am. It is not going to be developed. The extent of where the homes are going to be is reflected in this particular plat, and it is approximately 90 feet from that rear property line to the north.
That's quite a bit, 290 is.
Yes, ma'am. And if the council, Mayor, if I may, if the council recalls, we had significant discussions regarding the view fencing and so forth and the views of this particular residential community to the south, looking south rather, during that zoning hearing in January of 2018, I believe it was.
And yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Is the aerial view that came in our packet, it looks like there's a planned park. Is that still planned? So that would be adjacent to or west of Lot 1. And so in reality, looking out that, he will have access to view the park.
Let's see.
So, Mayor, Council, so yes, this area right here where my finger is the park. And this is the corner of the property right there that's in question. So to the west of there, you're exactly right, is a park.
Okay, thank you.
So Mayor,
And-
was 931 going to be a school? So he was going to look at a school,
Yes.
And now he's going, instead of looking at a school, he's going to, will be more than one story, generally, sometimes, maybe, could be.
Could be,
Then there's going to be one-story houses instead.
correct.
Are
And-
they going to have a view fence, or will they have a solid fence?
That is at the discretion of the home builder.
Okay.
Christopher, were you going to say something?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I would also just like to point out, so if the council has any questions about Newland's interaction with the particular resident, Mr. Tyke is here, and he can answer those questions for you.
Well, yes, Brandon?
I said a comment real quick. Yeah, so I was actually in his backyard last week, so I saw the view and I saw how it looked, and it looks like he has like half of his view should be the park if you stand in one corner, and the other half would be across the sea. You can already see the plots already up where the dirt is being moved, and there is a wash there. I didn't know how far it was, so I didn't realize it was 90 feet. But yeah, so I was there and I was able to see what it looks like and
And what was your
different
opinion?
view fences. I mean, I think he has. I could see from his point where view fence, and he's the last one on that view fence section. So I think he felt that he would also like the same view as the other 5 people that are there as well. So, and then it changes after that point. So I can see from his point of view that he would like it to be the same as the other 5.
Of course,
But it did change, and we did vote on that back in like 6
when the
months ago.
house was built, his house was built, there was nothing there, right? Okay. All right, so.
But you don't buy a view.
Yeah, this is always very difficult, and I always appreciate the homeowner's angst and desire. But as a past, now, I repeat my story again, as a past sales representative for a national builder, you cannot buy scenery or views. It's not for sale. What you buy is that plat where the house is put, and that is all right you have, unless there was something contractually put in that would change that. So I can understand your concern and that you wanted it or assumed that it was going to look one way and it didn't turn out that way. And I try to always warn people, if there is a space, a home site or an industrial site behind you, there's nothing on it. By law, they have a constitutional right to put what they want up as long as it meets the zoning guidelines. So in this case, I think they had the right. And the only one to me that you may want to talk to, and I don't know if they would change that, is if somebody would help you with a fence. But there's not required to. I can't imagine that that would be the case. Anybody, any more comments?
I don't know if Peter wants to come up or not.
I can't hear you. You got to speak into the microphone.
So I don't know if you wanted Pete to come up or not, if it matters.
I don't know. Pete, would you like to come up and say some words? We appreciate this. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as they had mentioned, the original zoning was for a school. The school just recognized they didn't need two so close together and let us go ahead and rezone the property at that time. We did the 2 meetings through the PAD. We did the first one, listened to quite a bit of concern from various residents. And what we did was we ended up with the original, I've never used this, but
Okay.
you can see right here is the original plan that when we went into the first meeting and showed the residents, took note of all the concerns, went back, and then made the decision that we would turn that park. You can see the one area was the park. We were going to make it residential. And then we were going to put in a different linear park with all the concerns. We just felt the right thing to do was take it back to a park. And then we also agreed at that time that we would go ahead and stip the project to single-story, which you can see right here highlighted. That's actually from our purchase and sale contract that it's on the plat as well, but we made sure the builder understood they have to be single-story homes just to keep those down. We also felt that a single-story home was going to be a lower height than a school, so it seemed like the right thing to do. Then the other thing we did when I went into design was, I know you probably can't see this very well, but the reason that we have so much distance there was I asked the engineer to take every lot down to the minimum depth absolutely possible so that we stayed as far away from that parcel as possible. So you can see what the numbers are here don't include, there's another about 10-foot tract right there. You can see the property line
Yeah.
and then the lot. So we did everything we could to stay away from those lots. And if you've seen some of our stuff, typically we'll be in the 40 to 60-foot range. So some of these areas, we doubled that. So we were just trying to be very cautious with it, taking note on all the comments we got. The one thing I did also want to mention is this area has actually got a little bit of its retention, and then it's just a landscape open space tract where they may or may not put just like a little trail to come through so they can cut through here to get out to the park. So it's not a wash, but it is some retention and landscaping.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, happy to answer those.
Let me ask the council, any questions?
No.
No, thank you very much. We appreciate the explanation. All right, council, so it's time to vote on this, so I need a motion and a second to approve item 9.2.
So move.
Second.
I hear a motion by Vice Mayor Campbell and a second by Councilman Loretano.
Oh, no, it's Councilman Keno.
Councilman Kano, then they're saying Councilwoman Kano. Okay, so should we do a roll call vote on this? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, great. Let's go down to business. I'd like to remind council to wait until there is a motion on the table for any questions or discussion. Let's start out with 10.1 on business, intergovernmental agreement with the city of Glendale to utilize the Glendale landfill. Adam Kurtz, Solid Waste Superintendent, presenting.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. As you're aware, the city recently awarded a 7-year contract to right-of-way disposal for curbside trash and recycling services. With the contract, our residents and city staff can utilize their 19th Avenue and Lower Buckeye transfer station. However, since this location is a little bit further, we began to explore closer alternatives. The Glendale landfill was one of these alternatives. We reached out to them and they were receptive to the idea of allowing our residents and city staff to use their landfill at a contracted rate. Some clear benefits of using this landfill would be its location and pricing. Although not part of the request tonight, I did want to mention that in addition to our residents being able to use RAD's location, we're also working on securing contracted rates at the White Tanks Transfer Station and the Southwest Regional Landfill. We will make sure that the residents are aware of these options on our website once we've completed this process. Once again, I'm only asking for your approval of the IGA with Glendale. Approval of the IGA would secure another location for our residents and city staff to use. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right. Would anybody in the audience like to speak? Then can I have a motion and a second to authorize the an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Glendale? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion from Councilman Hampton, a second from Councilman Pizzillo. Open for council discussion? No discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is 10.2 on business to approve the extension of the Vista at Palm Valley final plat approval. Joe Schmidt, Long Range Planner, presenting. Joe?
Hello, Mayor and Council. As you noted, this is a relatively straightforward request for an extension of the final plat approval that was granted to Vistas at Palm Valley back in February of this year. The subdivider is Meritage Homes, and I'm sure the council is well aware of the project and where it's located. We thought that we had the final plat just about ready to go, but the subdivider encountered some difficulties and some delays that were unanticipated. One in particular was their ability to get a certificate of assured water supply through the process at ADWR. So they're continuing to work on that now. Once that's obtained, that will set the stage for Liberty Utilities to sign off on the final plat, and then it can move toward recording. So what the request tonight is to simply extend that original approval for an additional 90 days.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion and a second to approve the 90-day extension of the Vistas at Palm Valley final plat approval? Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion from Vice Mayor Campbell and a second from Councilman Loretano. Open for council discussion. Councilman Bazzillo.
Just question on the process itself. I know it was a golf course when they came for us for the preliminary. When would they typically get that assured water supply at the preliminary plant?
Mayor Lord, Councilmember Brazil, it's usually, at least the process is usually started at about the preliminary plat. This one has, and normally it's completed in about 3 to 4 months. This one has taken longer because of ADWR implementing a new water model, and it's taken more time to complete their analysis. The applicant has indicated that they are hoping that they'll get their certificate by the end of the month, and this additional 90 days will give them time to complete that.
What happens when if the 90 days expires?
I believe the final plat rules are that you only get one extension, and then they would have to basically get scheduled before the council again for reapproval of the final plat as opposed to an extension.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Well, I was going to ask Joe why we're not asking for 120, just to be on the safe side so they don't have to come back if they don't get it, if DWR is moving that slow.
Mayor Lord, Vice Mayor Campbell, the provisions in the subdivision regulation says that the extension is 90 days. I don't believe it provides for an additional term. Okay. And so at least at this point, we didn't consider it. Hopefully they can complete it within the next 90 days and we won't have to worry about it.
Okay, once it's completed, will they actually start building? I know they've graded the ground, but that's all they've been able to do.
Mayor Lord and Vice Mayor Campbell, once again, I believe that the subdivider developer is anxious to get started, and they would have been building already if they hadn't had this delay.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? All right, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
So council, let's vote on. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. All right, we're at the informational time. Does council have any comments or updates?
Oh.
All right, we'll move right through this then. City Manager, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First, I wanted to discuss with Council, there had been a previous request to have a work session regarding texting while driving. And of course, the state has gone ahead and moved forward. The state legislature passed and the governor has signed a texting while driving bill. And so we will remove that from the queue for council work sessions if that's agreeable. And then the second item is I wanted to invite all of our residents in our community to the Goodyear Fire EMS Open House this Saturday. The Goodyear Fire Department is hosting the open house from 9 a.m. to noon at Fire Station 183 next to our community park. It's a free safety event, gives the public an opportunity to meet their emergency medical professionals, learn hands-only CPR, and Stop the Bleed First Aid. So we hope everyone can join us. Thank you.
Thank you. You have any, council, do you have anything for the city manager? No? Okay, I think we're closing this up. The next meeting will be a work session on May 20th, 2019 at 5 o'clock, followed by a CFD meeting and then a regular meeting. So no further business. This meeting is adjourned.